Welcome to episode 33 of That Range Life, a show sometimes about golf. It's me, as always, Bill Bush of DriveRangeHeroes.com with my good friend, Chris McEwen, at Chris McEwen on all social medias and all that. Hey, before we get started here, the usual, do us a favor. If you watch this show on a regular basis and you haven't already, click in here if you're watching it on my site and click the little YouTube thing. It'll take you to Chris's YouTube page, and then I want you to, okay, we're there now. Hit subscribe down here and give us a thumbs up. Maybe leave a comment. That'd be great. Greatly appreciated. Make sure you do that. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it. All right, we got a lot. We got a little bit to cover. As everybody knows, Chris was not here last week, so I had on John Claffey, the VP of marketing over at Tour Edge Golf. I don't know if you guys know this. Chris and I like a lot of their gear, so thought he'd be worth talking to. Thanks to him. Got it out. Thanks to him for coming on. And
we're also coming on the podcast. It was a fun conversation.
Yes, and on the wonderful golf origin stories. I've officially listened to 2 episodes now. It's pretty good. But we have a lot to catch up on due to Chris's absence. So we have Gear Talk featuring new shaft from Project X, new bag from Big Max. And then we're going to get into some discussions about how good news, I still suck at golf. And Chris's Wisconsin trip.
Yeah.
Just leave it at Wisconsin trip for now. We'll get into the details in a bit. So let's get to it, Chris. Let's do some gear talk. All right, let's get right into it, Chris. First one I want to talk to you about is the new steel iron shaft from Project X Golf. Okay. It's called the LS. It is a low spin, low launch steel shaft. Now, Project X has been highly regarded for a long time just for their standard Project X shaft. Highly regarded. People love it. It has a tight, like a signature Project X tight feel to it that people tend to really enjoy. They also do this neat thing. I always love when shaft companies do this, where rather than be like, it's stiff, it's extra stiff, whatever, they use a code system of some sort. Some of them it's like M3 or a number, M5.
16, 17, 19. I have one of those shafts in my driver.
But
and then you ask me, like, what are you playing? I'm like, I don't know, man. A 16, a 19,
whatever this company's M5 is, or 5 or whatever, right? So anyway, these guys, it's pretty straightforward, though. They've always done it this way. You have 6.0, which is stiff, 6.5, which is extra stiff, 5.5, which is regular. But I've always heard a lot of people say, hey, they play about a half stiffness, half flex. There you go. Half flexibility, stiffer than the number. So like if a 6.0 is supposed to be stiff, it's like a stiff plus.
Okay.
Good piece of note. So anyway, this low spin, low launch shaft is something they haven't really had before. They've done the lightweight, high launching thing, but they haven't had. The modern players are swinging harder. They're more athletic than ever. And just because of how hard, the way people swing the golf club these days on modern equipment, they feel like their old shaft does not hold up to that swing as much or as well. And some people keep playing it because they're used to it. They're comfortable, but they wanted to give everybody something that has that same Project X feel, but keeps a lower launch and a lower spin. Now, there are other shaft companies who have made steel iron shafts like this before, and you're like, man, this is rebar. It sure doesn't spin, and it does stay low. I've never mixed well with those because I'm not, a PGA player, and I can just zip a ball anywhere I want. So as much as I like the lower spin and lower launch for control purposes, it sometimes comes back to bite me. With this Project X LS, I really got to be careful saying that. That's a mouthful. With this LS, it's kind of nice because it definitely has that like a pretty stout feel to it, but you can still see it or feel it release at impact. And I'm thinking, all right, I expect this no spin performance, but I was hitting 200-yard 5-irons that were hitting and stopping in the green. And it wasn't like you couldn't get a medium trajectory. You couldn't hit one in the air if you had to. So to me, it was a very playable, low launch, low spin shaft. It wasn't just, I feel like I want to name other names. I'm not going to. You play some of these other steel shafts known for that low characteristic. And I mean, if you try to hit anything but that low burner, at least for me, as a mortal iron player, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like hitting a telephone pole and just, low rope that isn't going to stop anywhere, especially in a long iron. So I appreciate it with this LS. I felt like I could still play golf with it, but get the benefits of that kind of tight, stout, compact iron shaft that has a premium on control and doesn't really like it. It helps it not get away from you. So
Okay.
I do think I would tell you, if you're trying to compare it to another shaft family, no, you know what? That's not even a good comparison. It's just, think of those low rebar iron shafts that are out there, which are great for some people, and just take one of those and make it a little more player friendly. And I feel like that's what Project X delivered here. And they didn't have that. They just haven't had anything like it in their lineup. So if you're one of those players that are like, man, I love the feel of a Project X shaft, but I could use a little more stoutness. I don't think that's a word.
So let me ask you a question. A golf shaft neophyte that I am. Mm-hmm. Why would you want a shaft with low spin in your irons? I understand it from a driver, like a longer. Okay, so longer, like your driver, a longer club, but like a 7-iron, you would want some spin, right, to be able to stop it. So I'm a little like, why would you play
it's more for the player who spins
that shaft,
who spins it too much, right? Who can't they start hitting balloons, start tailing them all over the place. And I think especially these low shafts are really good for shooting darts, as they say. You just want to throw one of those darts into the green. And a lot of times the shorter irons, they build them in such a way like they're still going to bite for you, but maybe not as much as the regular Project X shaft, right? Now, I think that's sort of the beauty in this. It's like, if you need to make I've played other shafts that fit this profile, and if you need to make them bite and you need that spin, it's pretty hard to put it on it. With this shaft, I felt like if I needed to go and get some bite on the ball, and if I needed to make it spin and I needed it to defy its profile, it would. And it wasn't hard to make it do it. It was a pretty all-around performing club, but I could also see someone say, like, it's just too much for me. I don't have the swing for it. I'm happy with the standard Project X. Like, you definitely need the swing for it. And one of the things I left out is it is for a more aggressive modern swing. If you like, I could see someone with that just silky smooth takeaway, transition, and follow through not loving it. Mm-hmm. But if you're like a Rory McIlroy, just swing. I don't know if that's a good example, but just swinging the living daylights out of the club.
JT who swings super hard every time.
Like a Bubba Watson, right? Where it's just a super hard transition.
Yeah.
This club's going to hold up for you. And that's another part of it. A lot of these clubs, your club awareness gets better, or shafts. Your club awareness gets better.
Sure.
You know where it is throughout the whole swing, right? And can control it better. So, I mean, it's like anything, though. Maybe you have the silkiest swing in the world and this shaft does everything you need it to and you hit it great. By all means, put it in your bag. Everybody, and a lot of it, I think it might perform great for you. I mean, I run it as a golf club reviewer, Chris, or golf gear reviewer. I run into this problem all the time where I'm like, the numbers, I'll just say I did one recently where I'm like, the numbers were great. My data was awesome. I just like, it didn't click for me in my hands.
Yeah,
sure. It feels fine. Just wasn't there. You know what I mean? So you might have that with someone where they're like, oh, my numbers are good with this. It just, the profile doesn't click with me and I don't do it. Or someone's like, my numbers look terrible, but I love how it feels and I feel confident with it. So I'm going to play it. So, you can't just go by what it says on the sticker, right? You got to go and test it out and really get a feel for it. But this shaft's pretty good. I'm not quite in convert to it yet, and we'll discuss a different option maybe for me with Project X that might have a little time lingering in the first stage of Uncle Bill's club graveyard. But it's really good. I think if I was in my prime, like this thing would be a contender for my iron shafts. But it's great. I think the modern good aggressive player. Think of J Armour the third of Sub 70 Golf. That's who I think of in the way that guy swings. And I'm like, your exact example of this what is he, like 7'3", and string being rubber band that just swings the shit out of the club.
Yeah.
I think he could really, really do well with this iron shaft.
From this. Okay.
It's like that kind of player is just your young modern player that's grown up on learning how to hit the living daylights out of the golf ball. This is going to hold up well for you. And so we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
Oh, it has a matte finish as well. We had an internet disruption there, everybody. Last closing comment was, it has a matte finish to it, much like
interesting
the KBSC taper, and people always liked how that looks. Well, the Project X LS. God, I can't say that. I can't say it. Can't get Project X LS out. Matte finish looks really cool. Really good looking iron shaft. Not for people that are into that. All right, moving on. The Big Max Dry Lite Hybrid Stand Bag. Both of these are a mouthful today.
So it's a lot to say for a product.
So Big Max, European golf company out of Denmark. Okay. And I would say more known for their push carts, and they have really, when I say only recently, it's not like they've only been in America for a few years, but I would say their all-around popularity here has really grown over the last few years.
For sure.
And this is their latest bag offering. Now, this is good because I know you have one of these too.
I do.
And you had experience with it, correct?
Yeah. So just full disclosure, I'm a bit of a Big Max kind of, I'm a Big Max fanboy. Yeah. I've had the CEO on the Golf Origin Stories podcast. He's an awesome dude. Super cool. I've been using the push cart it's been my one and only push cart now for years. And this will be my third Big Max bag.
I have J-Rose Big Max bag in my garage right now.
Do you really?
Yeah. I'm re-gripping some clubs for him, but he is currently camping, and I needed some direction.
Not just camping. Do you know what he's doing, man? He's like surviving on the land. Well, like straight up. He is on an island in Michigan where there
one
are
day you two clowns were still playing Instagram Inception with your stories. So I was like, all right, well, clearly at some point his cell phone gets used. So I shot him a text, and it went green instead of staying blue. So I'm like, yeah, okay, fair. He's in the middle. No, I get it. Yeah. Still haven't heard back from him.
No, man, he's out. He is out of range for sure.
Well, when I see an Insta story get incepted by him, I'm going to give you a hard time.
But anyways, let's talk about this new bag. Because I'm a big fan of it.
His whole Big Max bag is in my garage. That's all I was trying to finish saying. Yeah, Big Max 14-way. It's a stand bag, right? But
yes,
it's got a 14-way divider. Now, I will tell you, it's a good bag. It's a hybrid bag, meaning a hybrid between a stand bag and a cart bag. That's what I would say. And I think trying to convince someone, could you carry this thing? Yes, you could. Mm-hmm. What I tell you it is, if you are going to pick a golf bag to be a walker with, I might say you're crazy for picking this bag for walking players.
So here's the catch with if you're going to carry a golf bag, I don't think you're in the market for this bag anyways.
Right.
But here's the catch with it. So it has, to me anyways, it has so many pockets and so much room for stuff.
Can I stop
in
you? Because I
your
feel like
bag.
I know where you're going with this, and
Okay,
that
go ahead.
that's going to be the closer, I think. And I want to see if
Okay.
you agree with this.
Yeah. All right.
So to your point, yes, there's a ton of storage on this thing.
Right. You can load the thing up.
Load it again. When
I
you have
did.
it, when you have the space, you're going to
You're
use
going
it,
to use it. Right.
and then you're going to throw it on your shoulders and go, why is it weigh 75 pounds?
Right.
Or it's from Europe. So why does it weigh 8 stone? I don't know if that's but it's it's good. There are two things that the one thing I really do, I am not a 14-way divider guy.
Which is interesting because I am.
Big 14-way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I love it, man. I love it. I could grab an iron out of the 14-way without looking.
I'm just sitting there going, wait, where does it go? I don't know where my golf clubs are. Like I can't having to find just the right place to put it back. I just can't do it. But that's not it. Let's be clear, not the bag's fault. That's on me.
Right.
I admit it. So, and man, I feel like it is a huge, wide open top to fit stuff into. Straps are very comfortable, very puffy, padded.
Mm-hmm.
Signature Big Mac's dual strap system. Now we're starting to get into the highlights of this thing. It has what they call a hybrid stand mechanism.
I love it. Yep.
Here's where I would like you now. Production meeting time. Now, as we're talking about this, I sent you a picture of the bottom of the bag, the stand mechanism. Put that up, okay?
You want to put it up right now?
Right now.
It's up.
It's up. All right. So normally your stand bag has a mechanism that has sort of like a little like lever thing that sticks out from a base that folds and sort of like it's a 2-piece thing and there's space and you have to catch it. If you put it in a cart or on a push cart, it has to fit just right. Mm-hmm. Now, what they did on this thing, they made it all built in, a flat bottom with no space anywhere, just a nice flat surface that fits into things, onto things, however you want to put it. So if you put it in the back of a golf cart, it's not going to like fit funny. It just fits nice and square right into there. Oh, you're going to put it on your push cart? Well, now you have these little, like, this big of brace things that you have to get it to wedge in just perfectly. Yeah. And I have to tell you, I will say this. When I have used a Big Mac's cart with another brand's bag, it's a little bit of a fight. I'm not going to lie. But this one, you could use any brand's push cart, though I'm sure Big Mac's would love us to say right now, but use a Big Mac's one. And actually, it is true. They are ideally made.
Yes, they're made for a Big Mac's push cart for
together.
Sure. Yep.
I will say, if you don't use a Big Mac's cart and you're interested in the bag, it'll work for another push cart.
I wouldn't know because I've never used any other push cart besides Big Mac's push carts.
Huge golf guy. They're all coming through here. All of them are coming through here all the time. Or have. Just kidding. So this thing, especially with a push cart, just fits on that little bit. You get to stuff it on by the front wheel perfectly because it just has a nice flat base.
Yep.
So while it may seem like an insignificant detail, extremely valuable to this golf bag and very impressive. I would like to see more brands
do something similar. Totally agree.
And it would work
100%.
From the little bit I did do with it, it works fine out on the course too. It's not like, because it's this different stand mechanism, like it's not going to work in the grass. So very impressive.
Yeah, it works just like a normal kind of stand bag. It's just all built into the bag and it's kind of like incognito. It's super cool, man.
It's very cool. Now, to our point, this thing was made to fit into a Big Mac's push cart. We find other ones, but Big Mac's, like it's sized to fit perfectly at the right height and spacing with their brackets on their carts. Like I said, it'll work with others. One of the key thing there, that bag is an inch taller.
Correct.
It's an inch higher. So if you think about where if your bag doesn't fit into a push cart right, all of a sudden it's like trying to get the clubs out. They start getting stuck beneath the console, and you can't pull a club out as easy. But with this thing being taller, it sticks up more. You're nowhere near that bottom part beneath the console. They're up and easy to get out of the push cart.
Yep.
Small detail, very nice and convenient. So here was my take, and this is why I made you stop. I think you were going this way. Is it for the walker who carries their bag? No, I'm going to say it's not. Yes, theoretically, you're just smart and don't load it up. And you just have a giant empty bag while you're carrying it.
Right.
But the walker with a push cart, oh, this thing's great. I can't remember. I should have looked that up.
Yeah.
I should have. I did look up things to talk about for this out of the review I wrote. But I said something along the lines of, you pair this thing with the right push cart and you have like the ultimate like golf push cart command unit. It's just, you have everything you need.
True.
Especially if you start getting into all the attachments too, so you can have all your accessories on the handle and console of your push cart. Like you've seen
my push cart.
You could be worse though. You don't have like chairs and all. You need to get.
I don't have the chair. I don't have the stool or whatever. But I've got pretty much everything else.
We need to get to work on that for you and really like lean into this thing and soup up your push cart. So anyway, it is the ideal to me if you're like, no, I only use a push cart and I want like that mobile command center unit. This is the bag for it. It is the perfect push cart player golf bag. Sits in the cart greatly, nicely. You know. We record late at night, all right? And I'm very stressed right now too with my day job, okay? Leave me alone.
I'll go one further, if I may.
Yeah, go.
If I may. And we'll get into this a little bit. We're going to talk about our rounds. We're going to talk about my trip to Wisconsin. So I took this bag. The first time I used the bag, we're going to play a bunch of different rounds. And in some of the rounds we were going to walk. Some of the rounds we were going to ride. And this bag was perfect for that sort of golf trip. Because like you're saying, it fits perfect on my golf cart or my push cart, so I can load it up that way, or I can just throw it onto the back of a golf cart and it fits that way. It was like the perfect bag to bring on a trip like that, where it was like this hybrid walking, riding golf trip. So it was just perfect.
I'm sorry, but sneak peek. Chris went and golfed all over Wisconsin, so you can probably immediately start drawing conclusions where he went. This one course I'm going to mention, though, he did not go to, and I'm going to say this. Sorry, Dave, but this is Dave is one of our Big Max guys. Sorry, Dave. This is not the bag for Aaron Hills. Do not bring this bag to Aaron Hills.
No. Yeah. Well, if you hire a caddy, who cares?
That caddy, if you load it, he's immediately going into the barn and getting one of their bags. Just trust me.
That's true.
And for those that don't know, it is a long, tough walk at Aaron Hills. That's why I say it.
I have to say,
by the way, don't go to Aaron.
For another episode one day, we need to talk about Aaron Hills. And I don't really feel like playing it ever in my life.
It's not going the right direction. It's every now and then I get this hit. I'm like, I want to go play up there. And I'm like, I do, but not now, not where it's at culturally. I'll just leave it at that.
Not even that, but like after playing, Sand Valley. Well, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
But this is gear talk.
Gear talk. So anyway, great mobile golf command unit cart.
It's true, especially for a guy like me who I have a full camera, not like a camera phone. I have a drone. I've got all kinds of stuff. I've got beer.
Take it easy.
All that
That's
sort of
not
stuff.
all going into that bag, and I know
pretty close, man. Pretty close.
You son of a bitch. Last point. If you look at the website and you look at the bag, it gets confusing of what's waterproof and what's water repellent.
Right. That's a good point.
I misstated it in my review. It is waterproof, where just the seams are water repellent, not waterproof. So it is a mostly waterproof bag.
Yeah.
If you want to find out for yourself, fill it up with everything you want to and throw it in some water and see what happens. I've done it. All right, Chris, that was gear talk. So, Chris, I alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
Dude, so some of the review talk will be like, we're about a week ahead of here and talking about it. Came out. If you're watching this now, it came out the week prior. So go back and look at the gear talk subjects from there, or obviously down here somewhere. But I mentioned in a previous show and coming out, I had a post go up the week of this show dropping.
I saw that. Yeah.
About how I suck at golf. And like, I got to tell you, since writing that, this is like, I wrote this post before this round of golf where I'm like, I still suck, man. Like, it's only getting worse. And so I went and played Oak Park Country Club. It is the 1914. Oh, yeah, check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Fancy.
I didn't even know I had it on. Look at that.
Fancy.
It is a 1914 Donald Ross, blah, 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 blah. Okay, course is great, but it's 106-year-old course in Chicago.
Yeah.
A lot of Chicago area, a lot of old trees, just like you'd expect to see here. You cannot be spraying a driver on that golf course. You cannot be spraying irons. Dude, I don't want to golf for a long time. Maybe take the rest of the year off. Bad. It's just like I'm losing the will to play, and it's so bad because, interestingly, my wedges are still fine-ish, but you start getting to the point where you're like, my brain just doesn't work. I can't hit a driver. You can't hit any clubs. And then at this place, even when I finally like find it and hit the ball perfect, it'd be like, well, all of a sudden now I hit my 8-iron 210 yards, and
Jesus.
I flew a par 3 green by 70 yards. Like, what is going on here? So it's like my brain can only hold up with this problem for so long before it's leaking into everything else. And I got the golfing guys all like, well, you want to send me some video? I'm like, no, I don't want you to send me some video. I don't want videos. Because I could watch a video too and be like, yeah, you're doing this round, this round, this round. But it's like, because my head and the machine do not work. Don't work. So I just want to take a moment to point out.
I'm sorry, man.
Suck at golfing. I'm trying everything.
You know what'll fix it?
Not playing for the rest of the year.
No, playing with me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That'll fix it. We need to get out and play like our old clubs. We still haven't done our vintage.
I probably have a better shot with that. And I will tell you.
Yeah.
I went from that, like, oh, I'm going to play a 4-wood and take a 5-wood out of my bag. No 3 and 5 wood, put a 4-wood in. I'm going to put an extra wedge in. And like, that was fine. It's actually real good for me. I'm going to stick with my irons for this year. I'm going to figure out what driver. I'm really just going to settle in and stick to this gear, especially this year where I've been able to play a good amount.
Yeah.
And get used to the gear and get dialed in. And it's not gone that way. So, I'm back to, I posted a picture a little bit. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. A while ago I brought 2 drivers and like 7 different shafts to the driving range. And I want to be clear. There's nothing wrong with my gamer setup. It's just, it's me. It's all me. So I'm like, maybe if I can just find something to swap around and it just becomes intuitive, I'll have cracked the code. So,
right.
Now I'm in that, like, all right, well, I'm trying something different with my driver. I'm not willing to say ditch it and just put a whole different one in there because I've already proven that doesn't work. But I'm going back to the 3 and 5 wood. I'm taking the extra wedge out. I'm so bad right now. I'd rather feel like I have a hole in my bag missing those and just get back to the roots. Something's got to give. But now this transitions to, you were fighting driver woes, and you had, I would say, a series of golf courses coming up that were not friendly to a condition similar to this or the one you were having. Let's hear about that trip.
Well, yeah. So I played. What did I play? I played Sand Valley, Lawsonia, Lynx, Mammoth, and University Ridge in Madison, and then I also played the Sandbox at Sand Valley, which is a short course. So it was just like a wedge and a putter.
Was that
But
not
yeah,
part of your guys' trip? Did you just do that yourself?
oh no, that was part of the group kind of thing. We all
Okay.
played it. It was a good time. Actually, it was a great time. Sandbox is a blast, man. So much fun. So much fun. Like there is just like, it's a life size like what do you call them? Like the
Miniature golf?
miniature golf. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like one of
Well,
those, like
wait,
where
life size miniature golf is life size miniature golf. I would say it's like maybe miniature golf with normal size golf holes.
uh, I guess like you're basically like there are multiple holes where we played putter off the tee. I'll put it that way because
Yes, I've heard this.
it's all fescue, right? So it's going to roll forever. In fact, if you played a wedge off the tee, you were going to be worse off than putting it just all the way through. So it was just a different way to play golf, and it was super fun. And yeah, it was just cool. It was a good time. We had music going and just kind of hanging out. And it was competitive, but at the same time, you're kind of like you're just out there kind of playing around. I mean, how often do you get to just play around with a wedge and try to hit silly wedge shots and then hit a putter 30 yards, 40 yards and watch it roll the whole time? It was fun.
Did anyone have a sandbox hole in one?
No one had a sandbox. There was real close. There was a group behind us on kind of the most unique hole there. I think it was 10. There's 17 holes on the sandbox. I think it was hole 10, and we were on 11. So we watched everyone putt up because it was one of those holes where everyone was going to putt. And I mean, it was within a foot. It was inside a foot. And it was like we all hit putter and rolled off the other side of the green. We thought it was impossible to hold that green, even with the putter. And this guy just hit the perfect roll and just birdied it. So, but no, we didn't. There were no hole in ones. Anyways. So here's the thing, though. So Sand Valley, I struggled. I shot. I think I shot a 92 on Sand Valley. It wasn't so much the course; it was much more of my driver issues. The greens are tough. It's a totally different way of playing than what we're used to. Obviously,
For the record, that course, the Sand Valley course, Core Crenshaw design,
right,
is tough. Like
it's a tough course. It is a tough course, and if you're not ball striking well, it's going to be even that much more tough.
When God help you, you don't have a caddy and you have no familiarity with the place. Because I think I warned you this. You fire up a Sky Caddy, right? That gives you all that GPS and whatnot. Well,
it's useless
because all the waste areas that are sand dunes are waste areas on that thing. They're not indicated as like sand
hazards
or whatever. Right. So it's like you go, well, I see here about like, where is that feature way out there? You're like, that feature doesn't exist on the course map because it's a waste area.
Right. Yeah. There's that. That was one. And two, you just can't stop a ball. I'll say this. I can't stop a ball 150 yards out or longer with an iron. It's just not going to happen. You have to play for that bounce and roll that you're going to get.
Not the way
these massive greens and everything.
Not the way they've been keeping them this year. And they're healthy. They're good. They're just hard as shit.
Yeah, they're really hard. And that was the same thing with Mammoth. So, and it was the first course and it was the 4-hour drive and you get on the tee box and whatever. So I didn't really play great on Sand Valley. Awesome golf course though. I mean, just incredible golf course. However, I did start to get things sort of fixed a little bit as we went through the round. So Lawsonia, I played much better than when we went out there. Had a great time at Lawsonia, knew my way around the golf course. I mean, it was the second and third time I'd play the links. So I knew the course much better. So I had a good time there, was hitting driver pretty well there. And then Mammoth, Mammoth is about, it's just, there's 60 to 80 yard wide fairways. So you can kind of just get after it and it doesn't, I mean, it matters, right? So I played with a guy. I shot an 87 on Mammoth. I played with a guy who shot par, and we played a totally different golf course. Like he was hitting his lines,
Yeah.
and meanwhile I'm off, 30 yards to the left or whatever it was, trying to play a 6-iron into this, 10,000 square foot green or whatever it was. And meanwhile, he's trying to hit a spot that's, whatever.
How many greens did he hit? And greens and
He-
reg. Did you hear
I
that
don't
golf
think he
term?
missed. I don't think he missed a green as a reg. I don't think he missed one. We were talking about that coming up 18.
And then how many greens did he, not counting par threes, how many greens did he reach off of a tee?
I don't think he reached one off of a tee.
So I played Mammoth once, and this was probably close to 4 years ago. And I shot I was playing pretty good golf, which, all right, as I'm talking about how bad I am right now, you can vouch. Every now and then it comes together. I shot like a 76 or something in those.
It's a good round of golf. Yeah.
I hit 4 greens off the tee, man. And one of them, it's really? Like I had to hit a bomb to do it. It's maybe number 6 where it's fairly short, and it's almost like a number 8, but it's perpendicular to the hole. And
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's, I mean,
is that the boomerang hole? Is that the boomerang green? 6?
Maybe.
I've got the book right here.
You can put it up on the screen here when you find it, right? Right. Yeah. You should see, by the way, my Sand Valley yardage book. I just leave in Wisconsin at Humblebrag at my in-laws lake house. And
so 6, that's the so 6 is either a 308 yard or 264 yard par 4.
So it was in the 308 yard range, but it feeds into it. And that boomerang green, like if you can get your ball to the green and that pin's on the right side, it just goes and falls right in there.
It feeds right to it. Yep.
Right. So, I hit that one. There's one that was like super long, but it's all downhill with a big
16.
Maybe, I don't remember.
16. I had my first ever eagle putt ever in my life, because it's that we had there was a guy waiting there for us on 16. Oh no, 14. So right after the par 3 that you have to you have to carry all that waist area. It's like the iconic sort of, everyone takes a picture of that par 3. The next hole, you come up the hill and you're going to hit down into this bowl. And if the pin's in front, which it was for us, it's going to feed it right to the pin.
Well, so if it's the one I'm thinking of, fun hole. There's like a right side of the fairway that like goes down and slopes in, and then there's a left side, like there's a drop off.
Yeah, because we had a player that hit left into that, and he was stuck in that area twice.
Which it's playable, but anyway,
it's all playable. That's what's beautiful about Mammoth.
All I had to do was hit this like 260 yard fairway wood that you don't even have to hit it hard. It just fed all the way down into the green, and I had like a 23-foot putt, eagle putt, and I mean, don't worry, I missed it for sure.
Oh, I parred the hole.
Yeah, let's be honest.
It could be rock.
But I mean, I had 4 holes with that, and and I told you, out of those 4 that hit the green, one of them was like, that is a stellar drive. Hey, tip to me.
Yeah.
But like, that's the beauty of that course. If you can find, and then mix in the as long as you get it on this portion of the green, it's gonna fall into where you need it to go, or like it's very playable. But yeah, so I was like, for sure that guy found some of those speed slots and put himself up around. Yeah, he
did for sure. But yeah, I don't remember him. I know he had an eagle. He had one eagle. He had one. He had one or 2 birdies. His problem was, and I had to talk him. Actually, you're right. I talked him into hitting driver on one hole, and that was the one he eagled because he did reach the green. On that hole. So that was one of them that he did. So he did, I think he must have reached the green on 2 of them. Anyways, his problem was that he wouldn't accept the fact that it wasn't a Midwest golf course, like a typical Midwest golf course. So he kept hitting at pins. And I was like, and he kept complaining about it. And he's like, they make these courses so hard and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, you got to stop hitting at pins. It's just not going to work for you. You're going to have 30-foot putts if you do that.
Has Buddy played Pinehurst #2 ever?
I don't know.
I feel like tell him to go play there, and you're gonna be like, oh, this is like the Midwest alternative solution for Pinehurst.
That's the whole idea of that golf course. The whole idea of the golf course is you can go, off the tee, you can be very confident. You can hit whatever you want to hit. You can spray it however you want to spray it for the most part. But then your second shot is what's going to matter. And so he was putting it in position, but he wasn't really paying attention to his second shot so much. Hey. Now he adjusted, he figured it out because he's a good golfer, but.
Let me do this for you real quick. It's Mammoth Dunes head cover. Right there.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, look at you. I got the hat right here. It's the best. I think it's the best logo I own right now. Of anything.
That's what kills me. I'm like, I've never played Sandbox up there, but I'm like, I've only played Mammoth once, but I go, the logo is so good. That's like the merch I'd take.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The other cool thing too, and Wisconsin does a good job at this. Lawsonia was this way, and even Sand Valley, which is this, destination course, but they don't really gouge you for food or, that kind of stuff. Like the hat was like $30.
Sand Valley gouges you, except for on-course food and beverage.
Yeah, their tacos were $1.50, man. They're dope too.
Those ice cream sandwiches.
The ice cream sandwiches are fantastic.
The price, I've told you this before. The prices have gone up on those, but when they like quote just open, they were like $1.50. But that was, now they actually have to make money at the place. Right.
But just think about other places you've been where they just, come on.
Oh, Lawsonia is good. Dude, Sand Valley's food and beverage is so good.
Yeah.
And it's like you get into the restaurant, especially now, right? You can eat outside on the patio and all that. Like, okay, you start getting more into real prices, which they're actually still fine, but you aren't going to be like, oh my God, these are so cheap. But when you're out at was it Craig's Porch on Sand Valley? When you're at Craig's Porch, and you're like, I'll have a breakfast sandwich, a transfusion, 2 spotted cows, and a Snickers. And they're like, that'll be $2.75. You're like,
right. It's like $8. That's not kidding. There's no joke there. I would like to have us go back. I would like to do the same, very close to the same routing, but with like my guys, like you and J Riv and whoever else we want to bring with. Like, I think we should do that. I found a good house that we can rent that's right in the lake.
I'm not renting a house up there. I will stay at another house for free. And I was going to say, why don't we do this post coronavirus and we can accommodate better, you idiot.
Well, it would be post corona. Clearly it's not going to be this year.
I don't know with you ever,
but don't yell at me. All right. You better lower your voice, mister.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, we need to do it again next year. We'll do it again, and you can stay at your special house by yourself, I guess, and we'll stay at a different house. Because I already know there are restrictions for guests at your special house.
You son of a bitch! Don't start with me. I actually am.
Anyways,
Mammoth is in October.
Mammoth is a total blast, and I would love to do it. So I would do it a little differently. I think you would really like University Ridge, which was the last golf course in Madison that we played. I shot an 83 on that golf course, played really, really well. But it's a really fun golf course.
Do you know
it's much more of a traditional, like what we're used to, but it's just nice. It's well maintained. Do
you know how old it is and who designed it?
I don't. I probably should have known that coming on with you, but I'm not sure. It can't be that old. I don't think it's that old. Maybe. I mean, it's the University of Wisconsin golf course, so I don't think it's. It's
a 1992 Bob Lohman.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it is well maintained. It's fun. It's tight some places and wide open in others, and it gives you some options off the tee on some holes. And it was a good time. But then I did play on Friday. I did play an older golf course in Winnetka, Illinois.
Was it Winnetka or Wilmette?
It
Is it
was
Wilmette Golf Club or whatever in Winnetka?
no, it was Winnet. No, it was Wilmette. You're right. It was Wilmette Golf Club. Bless you.
I was gonna say I muted the mic for that too.
That was very professional. You would also like that golf course. Really old, like 1922, I think it was built. But they've renovated it. They've taken really good care of the greens. Yeah, old school fun golf course.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
it was a good golf course.
you've had yourself a lovely little run of golf.
I have. It's been a good year for me, man. Yeah, in the past week, it's been really good.
I have had a poor run and one driving range session. I went, oh, okay, there's hope. But I mean, there's not, let's be honest. And then I was supposed to play Sunday with the guys, and that didn't come together for a variety of reasons. And then I'm like, all right, so I booked my own round at 6:50 in the morning. I thought the weather looked fine, and then I woke up at 5, like half hour, 40 minutes before my alarm clock, because I'm like, what is that noise?
Yeah.
Don't hear anything. And I'm like, is somebody defacing my signage in my front yard during these sensitive cultural times? I'll just leave it at that. And I go, well, that not this time of day. It doesn't make sense. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'm up. I got to get ready for my round. And I go, why? It feels like it. God, it is staying dark late these mornings.
Yeah.
Well, then as I'm downstairs watching TV, waiting a little bit and waking up, I go, is it a patter against my window? And sure enough, I look outside. It's pouring rain, and then I realized I've been hearing thunder and lightning. And it stayed terrible for like 2-3 hours. So I was rained out. And well, if this isn't my my current golf situation in a nutshell, I don't know what is. Closing thought, not related to golf. I just thought people might want this update. So, Raccoon Trails over here, a hardy and lively raccoon population, including them meeting their demise in my garbage can. There's been a new addition to the wildlife preserve that is my yard. 11 o'clock the other night, I go to take my dog out. She's old, she's small, she can't even do the stairs, so you got to carry her down, So as we get to the bottom of the stairs on the side of my house, I hear a rustling in the garden like 10 feet away from the door, and I turn and I just see a little skunk scampering away. I'm like, oh. So raccoons are, I'd still have one back in my garbage can doing work, but now you've got skunks coming in. Raccoon Trails and skunk.
Yeah. Nice.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, hey, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man. I'm back on the road next week. Hopefully I can actually do a show.
Why don't you just be honest about it, though? Like, I love when and you're like, oh, I'll still be able to do the show. I want you to know. I knew full well you weren't going to.
I see. I was not accepting that fate. I didn't realize.
If you were going with your family.
A lot of things.
Well, that's on you. If you were going with your family like I did, I said, okay, you have a shot. Like I say to my wife and my kids, especially then we're recording a podcast every day. I'm like, hey, I'll do this at night like I do at home. But if you're going with a bunch of buddies and you're playing golf all the live long day, you weren't going to record this show.
Well, what happened was what had happened was I was staying by myself, so that wasn't an issue. Like it wasn't like me like being with buddies after the rounds of golf.
But you had long days. Late days.
we ended up playing an extra 9 at Lawsonia we'd played like a 2-club challenge. So like and we all went out at the same time.
That sounds familiar, by the way.
Yeah. It was a blast. So there was like, I don't know, 12 of us out there all together all at once. Hitting, we had like everyone got to pick 2 clubs. We went and we just played around and whatever. And so I ended up not getting back to my domicile, my rental, until much later. So that was what really ended up happening.
I love you called it a domicile. Do you remember when I was trying to find you places to get food from Chicago? Where I was like,
oh my God, that was the first night.
I said, let me get on the phone and see what I can find around there for you. And holy shit, man, were the options low?
Nothing. It's brutal.
And there's also like, hey, sort of like right when you go to Florida and you get away from the coast in the middle of the state and you're like, and it's not Orlando when you're like,
Yeah.
Welcome to real Florida. I think I said to you, I'm like, welcome to actual Wisconsin. You're not in Madison.
Rough,
you're not
man.
in the Dells. You're not by the resorts.
Yep. It was rough.
It
was rough.
And the food's
9 p.m. on a Saturday night. Nothing's open.
And the food's generally terrible. Like, this like cool sports bar place that does like pizza and pub foods open. You'd get it and you'd be like, this is like frozen White Castle burgers. Not even the good drunk kind, that you pick up a Crave case. I'm talking like you went to insert grocery store here, we're in the frozen food section.
Like, these are from Costco, you guys. Come on.
No, I'm sorry to give it. If you were up there, you went to Fiesta,
right,
and got yourself some frozen White Castle.
That's
By the way, shout out Fiesta. It is a festival, not Fiesta. Festival food.
I'm out of fucking. What happened here? Oh, there we go.
It's been doing this all show. I just didn't.
I was all out of focus,
and it froze just now. There's gonna be a lot of frozen Chris McEwen in this just to prepare you now for editing. You can blame my wife and Netflix, I'm assuming. I'm probably connected to the extender, which is nowhere near my laptop. So really grade A production on our part, as usual. Skunks in the yard. Horrible. You'd think we know what we're doing by now. It's a couple of goddamn idiots.
I can't wait till we can do this like in person, like every Sunday night or whatever it is. I'll come over and we'll just sit and we'll do the stupid show in like together. So there's no internet issues.
We got barbecue too. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, sure, man.
Made a killer pulled pork for Labor Day, just so you know.
I saw that.
Oh, so good. All right. This was a great 20 minutes of rambling. Let's shut it down. Hey, by the way, real quick shout out for your stuff. Well, here, Chris, you can put in the links. Go check out my reviews. Please click on my website.
Yes.
Love you guys for doing it. But I want everyone to go check out Golf Origin Stories again this week. Killer guest, David McClay Kid.
Yeah.
And not everybody's a course nerd or fine. Tell us give us the normal person of who David McClay Kid is and why people should care.
Yeah. So David McClay Kid is probably top 3 golf course architect in the world right now, at least top 4, arguably. I would call him, well, he's one of my favorites anyways, but he designed Bandon Dunes. He designed Mammoth Dunes and Gamble Sands. And he's just a super cool dude. And if you're a golf architect nerd, my podcast is perfect because we don't talk about any of that stuff. I should say, if you're not a golf architect nerd, we don't talk about that stuff because I'm not that big of a golf architect nerd. So we actually talk about his beginnings. He was a greenskeeper's son in Scotland. And he actually wasn't allowed to play golf on the golf course that his father maintained because of the class system.
What is this greatest game
Scotland
ever played?
Yeah, right. So yeah, we have a really fun conversation. We talk about how golf course design and movie making and songwriting all sort of have these parallels, and it's a really random and fun conversation. Not really about golf course architecture.
I will likely not listen to it, but especially because it's at this point I have a reputation to maintain with you.
Right.
But I gotta be honest, it's killing me not to because I am fascinated by him. I really like David McClay Kid myself, and almost like from the not golf nerd perspective, and I kind of appreciate that about him in general. So if you're into this kind of stuff, go check it out. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 33 in the books. Chris, I'll talk to you later.